In the wake of the just concluded horrific terrorist attacks in Mumbai, India, many of us have talked about the impact of radical Islam and the cultural pressures between India and Pakistan. But no one has addressed the issue of economic development. Here's my point. And I'm really spurred to make this point based on a couple of studies that I've been reading of late. One of them basically explains that in all of the Asian countries, including India and Pakistan, the Gini coefficient, which measures the level of income inequality, has increased for all countries, each and every one. In fact, the basic statement that is made in the study is that the rich are getting richer faster than the poor. Additionally, it was found that, and it's rumored that, the terrorist attacks in Mumbai were caused by an organization that was directed out of Pakistan. And then I found another study over at the Indian economic blog. It's called the Indian Economy blog. Actually, it's a great publication, indianeconomy.org. And it explains, I'm going to get the proper URL at the end of this, but at any rate, it explains that in all of the Asian countries for which there is this growing inequality, there is fear that it's so bad that those at the bottom rung would be subject to new policy programs, but they may not even be effective. This sets the stage for terrorism. You know, have you ever heard, here's my question to you, have you ever heard of a rich terrorist? Someone that had all the money in the world and yet decided to go out and don a gun and shoot and terrorize people on a large scale. If you think about all the terrorist attacks that we've heard of, the unfortunate September 11th bombings, September 11th of 2001, what we just experienced very recently on Mumbai, India, other examples, they're all perpetrated by poor people. The point that I'm getting at is, it seems to me we have an enormous world economic problem that we have to work on straightening out, because it's producing people who feel the need to attack others. Now you would say, no, it's just religious. Well, let's take that, all right? There are those who explain that the radical Islam approach is such that it almost has a stranglehold on the kind of economic development tools we normally want to see used to cause a country to grow. An example, it is pointed out that the main difference in economic development between India and Pakistan is that India is more willing to trade on the international stage, whereas Pakistan, which is more under the, if you will, control of radical Islam to a degree, is less want to play its economy on the world stage, fearful of what it might bring into the country. So here you have this, both this economic difference that is created by an ideological difference, but that economic difference is causing the kind of inequality that we see today. And my argument is that inequality is producing the foundation for the kind of people that we see that commit terrorist attacks. But it's not just there. It also extends to countries like Nigeria, where that government's economic planning is so poor that it does not make sure its oil revenues help those that are in the greatest needs. So it comes as no surprise that since 1994, we have seen a growing militant culture in Nigeria that is so aggressive, it bombs pipelines and thus destroys oil facilities that offer jobs to Nigerians. In other words, it hurts its own country. We see this in countless examples throughout the world. So it seems to me that we have to get a world clue and solve our world economic development problem before it's too late.